Welcome, dear viewers, to Poetry Blows Our Blues Away. The friction between science and poetry has been there since time immemorial. They seem to be at loggerheads with each other. Edgar Allan Poe, one of the pioneers of science fiction and the inventor of detective fiction, ironically accuses science in his Sonnet to Science. Here it goes. Science, true daughter of old time thou art, who alterest all things with thy peering eyes. Why preyest thou thus upon the poet's heart? Why preyest thou thus upon the poet's heart? Vulture, whose wings are dull realities. How should he love thee, or how deem thee wise, who wouldst not leave him in his wandering to seek for treasure in the jewelled skies? Albeit he soared with an undaunted wing. Hast thou not dragged Diana from her car and driven the Hamadryad from the wood to seek a shelter in some happier star? Hast thou not torn Naiad from the flood, the elfin from the green grass, and from me the summer dream beneath the tamarind tree? Poe begins the poem with an apostrophe, a direct address to science, and calls her the true daughter of old time. The job of science is to alter everything, alter all things with her piercing, peering, and hawkish eyes. There is a sea change in the world because of the inventions and discoveries of science. Poe calls science vulture and asks her why she preys upon the heart of the poet. Vulture is a bird of prey and eats on dead animals. It eats on the dead animals, but here it is preying upon the poet's heart. Your wings are dull realities, boring facts, says Poe, which means science, like a vulture, torments the poet by disproving all that he believes and cherishes. The poet shoots a series of questions to science. How can you expect the poet to love you and consider you wise? You don't even leave him when he wanders, soars high with courageous wings, seeking for treasure in the jewelled skies. Jewelled skies means star-studded sky, because he considers stars as jewels, like a diamond in the sky. You appear there too, haunting him, correcting him, telling him stars are not jewels, they are just suns surrounded by their own planets in other solar systems. Thus you bring him down to earth with your wings of dull realities. Mark the contrast between science's wings, which are dull realities, and poetry's wings, wings of courage. Poe shoots more questions. Have you not dragged Diana, the moon goddess, from her car, moon chariot? Because according to science, the moon is a lifeless rock covered with dust, not a chariot for Diana, the moon goddess. Have you not driven away Hamadryad, the wood nymph, from the woods, forests, the fairies associated with woods, the forests, from their natural habitat, from their environment? Have you not torn Naiad, the water nymph, from the flood, the elves from the green grass? Elves are short-sized fairies associated with green grass. All these fairies have gone seeking a happier star. It means Earth has become a miserable, wretched star or planet. Poe the poet doesn't distinguish between the sun and the planet, the star and the planet. By banishing supernatural beings, you have made Earth a wretched planet. A quote springs to my mind here. Every time a child says, a fairy, I don't believe in fairies, a fairy falls down dead somewhere. And the final accusation comes. Poe asks science, Have you not torn from me the summer dream beneath the tamarind tree? You science, you have robbed me of my dreams and fancies by summarily dismissing my cherished beliefs in myths and fairies, by banishing these creatures mercilessly. Science has destroyed the poet's paraphernalia, the raw material from which he draws inspiration. Yet, Poe has managed to pen a beautiful poem on science herself, personifying her and directly addressing her. Isn't it interesting to note here that Poe contributed significantly to science fiction? Even today, despite the rapid advances of science, the fairies and imps have returned to rule, as clearly exhibited and established by the ripples or craze created by Harry Potter series. The Spider-Man, the Superman, the Batman are trendy even today, aren't they? Had Poe been alive today, he would have written a different poem praising science for aiding creativity. Don't science and poetry representing all creativity, creative arts, make for holistic vision of the universe like our two eyes together? On this optimistic note, let me call it a day. See you soon with yet another fascinating poem. Till then, happy poetry reading.